Good night and welcome to MindFULL Live 408. Thank you for being here. I am your host, Nathan Springer, otherwise known on some days as the co-host, but you know, the actual host. She's around doing her thing as she usually does. Being her diva-like self, you know, no one controls her. How are you folks? Once you're on the inside, make sure you hit that like button, double tap the screen out there on TikTok. That's how you hit the like button there. We are streaming live on TikTok and on YouTube, multiple platforms, so you can view this live on either one, and whichever one you view it live on, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button once you jump in. Oh, you host, what you doing? Oh, what you doing down there, host? So wait, will crime drive down the price of land and house? It's supposed to, right? Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about, you see, like, there's a bit of a problem with that in the Trinidad market too. There's a bit of a problem with that in the Trinidad context, because we have a very limited size of housing market. So driving down the prices isn't exactly a simple, straightforward, easy thing. And you know, I think some people speak about it as that might be a reason for the property tax, etc., to try to help make it a bit more limited. But I'm not too sure the big effect crime has on the property value in the short term. And it's not RL. I am sure housing lots in those areas don't sell for that price. Part of the problem is it's an island. It's an island. So land and property is of a premium. They're limited. So, if it was that crime dropped the property value quickly, that would have been beautiful, but that's not something that happens like that. You're more likely, the property value of the entire island will drop as it would. In other words, the wealthy people will leave the entire island. It's not that they would only leave certain areas and not go to certain areas. They'll leave the entire island. And if I'm leaving Trinidad and Tobago because of crime, I'm not very likely I'm not going to sell out my property. I'd leave it as a rental property. So the price of the property in terms of the selling value isn't really going down, because I have no interest in selling. I just have no interest in living. So what it's going to be is a terrible crime hellhole with still high prices, so you can't buy anything, but you could rent. So you'd rent your entire life in this crime hotspot. Let me tell you, in Trinidad and Tobago, if land was selling for $10,000 in Laventille, a businessman would buy it up and build apartments, and apartments would rent in Laventille. There would be many people who would rent apartments in Laventille. So, they are the renters and they are the buyers. And the buyers will help set up. The buyers are the ones that cause the prices to remain what they are. The buyers are always interested. It's a Thursday again. As we do on a Thursday, we talk. If you want to discuss something, feel free. You can join the live over there on TikTok. Jump in and say hi. Let me know what you're thinking about. Argue with me if you want. We do allow for some of that. We do allow for some of that if you are so interested in losing an argument. Let's discuss what's going on, what has been in the news over the last week or so. It's been a while since we were out here. So much, Ronnie said. So much like what? HDC and their apartments for $5,000 and $6,000 per what? Per month? You know, HDC. I kind of don't understand the point of HDC sometimes. Like, what's the whole idea we're doing here? What's this joke about? Like, HDC allows for abuse of the housing process by a certain class of society, and then barely any help for the middle class of society. $550K and $650K to buy. That's HDC you're talking about. And what part? Like, I know we've spoken about this before, but can someone explain to me? As a country, we're looking to build things for families to live and thrive. Why are you building these attached houses? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we sharing houses and building apartment style buildings for people? Like, I don't understand that truly, you know. Like, we are specialized in building ghettos. Is that it? Are we purposefully trying to build ghettos? That's the reason behind it. Cost effective, my tail. Cost effective, my tail. Because the land is the government's own. So forget about the land price. Whatever the cost of the building, I am sure a family would have preferred you put that cost into a single family dwelling place on one lot of land and build it to size. Whatever the cost, they would have preferred that than whatever you're giving them attached to a neighbor and trying to force a community. You see, these things that we're calling communities aren't really communities, you know. They're astroturfed, if we understand what the term astroturf, as they say it is, the false grass that they use on those hockey pitches and stuff. They're trying to fake a community. A community is supposed to have some kind of organic build to it. You're taking random people from all over and forcing them into a small area and squeeze. It's a really communist concept, really and truly. The idea of government housing and how we do it is a communist concept, and I hate it. It creates ghettos. Yeah, Ronnie, though, you were saying you think it's about cost effectiveness, really and truly?
The same communist idea behind it, because if you building on 5 lots of land, right? You could only build for 5 people. If you do it your way, but if you do it HGC way, you might, 5 families. If you do it HGC way, you might be able to house 20 families. You know, so they're more looking at it as like we're gonna be trying to help the most amount of people. I mean, it isn't very helpful.
No, it's not. To me,
but people would say, at least, you know, I got a house.
I don't want those things. Like, I honestly, I'm telling you, If you give me something where my neighbor is on the other side of my wall, I do not want that. I don't want that. Like, what is that? Why are we doing these things?
It's not people who want that. It's not people who just line up outside HT every single Friday, every Monday.
Well, if that's what the options are, I mean, yeah. But if the option was a single family dwelling on a piece of land, you think they would have chosen that attached building compared to that? Like, I watch in some HDC developments, they have a plot of land. They have 2 plots of land, and they build like one flat house in between the 2 plots and split a wall in the middle so they could share the house. What foolishness is this? Like, where did we learn this is how families thrive? Listen. If any of you grew up in more rural communities and you see where organic communities form, where families have been there for generations and they spread and grew, you see that families, people who are of the same blood and share some of the most cultural similarities and familiarities, they reach to fighting and cutlass pulling with people they share a home with like that. You're expecting 2 random strangers you grab at a lottery from Trinidad and Tobago to make a good community like that?
Right. One, if you would like that, you don't want that, so you will never go there. You will never put your name down for HCC. But it has people find that. And if it didn't have people, if it had more people who didn't want it, HCC would cease to exist. But people do want it, people do fight for it. So they are still in business. And there is still the fact of we are on a finite resource, which is the land. So eventually what we're going to build houses and houses and houses for everybody. So when we're gonna
but here's the thing though, Ronnie. We have a stagnant population. So, and we have a lot of land. All of the land in the country basically is state land. Land is not in shortage. We have it. What's that? Ronnie, do you think if you gave people an option in this country to go in a Maloney sardine can or a plot of land in Rio where they have their own home, they will take the Maloney sardine can? We're talking families here.
I think a lot of people use the Maloney.
You think a lot of families would choose that?
Yeah, because it have land in Rio Claro selling, right? Nathan?
Ronnie, what's the price of a Maloney home? Do you know how much they pay there?
Few hundreds.
If so. And land in Rio Claro is still a couple $100,000. So it's not the same thing. I am talking about in this case HDC.
If must buy the land for people.
What do they do when they build the homes?
But oh gosh, Nathan, they buy it, so maximizing it to the potential, right? No. But I don't pause. But I don't actually believe that because HDC is a government company, so HDC does not maximize for profit, and this is the whole problem I have with all government companies. I'm not talking profit. I'm talking about like to please people as well.
Right. Well, if you're maximizing to please people, and as the government, I would suppose when you're maximizing to please people, the government would be maximizing to please are the families. Everyone else is irrelevant. They aren't going to exist in the next generation. So you're looking to please the families. And if you're looking to please families, you would think that as a government, you're going to bust anyway because they busted on the Maloney property too. It makes sense I bust and put a set of families to live in sardine cans and make a ghetto community, or I allow people room to grow. Which one do you think families would prefer, by and large? You really think you put the options out there where the price is comparable, families will choose the Maloney sardine cans?
I still think so. I'm not saying, okay, bad, probably not, but there would still be the people who would want it. I mean, for convenience, look at the location. I do not think that it is geographically undesirable. They put them in very geographically desirable locations. Let me be honest.
Yeah.
Look at Malone, look at the Hocketa, look at, well, okay, Greensville is not one, but areas are very much easy to access transport and whatever. They build them in really good locations. So, people will look at that too. And probably what could happen if they do wish to do that way, even if they said, okay, we're going to have the land reasonably priced in Rio Claro or whatever, the first thing they need, well, probably the second thing they would need to do is to decentralize Port of Spain, because some of the jobs go into Port of Spain anyway, and if I live in Rio Claro, how the hell I get to Port of Spain? So probably if they decentralize, even really need
or
land prices, they would go there anyway because they would be working close by.
Well, it's a chicken and an egg thing. The reason it's so centralized is because you keep building all the housing in the same place. If people lived in other places, you as the government, remember, it's not daddy government we're looking for here. Listen, I don't want the government building any housing. But if you're doing it, do it as sensibly as possible. And as sensibly as possible isn't to reinforce, yes, the YouTube is up, isn't to reinforce our centralizing problem. Wouldn't it make sense as the government to help the decentralization by building the housing decentralized? That's actually a point in the camp of decentralizing, not in the camp of, it's a good idea for us to go and they commandeering some more land inside of San Fernando to go and build a next ghetto hole. And the Mahasaba vex. And I give the Mahasaba right. And okay, you bring it now and put a kind of ethnic tone on it, because very likely you're going to bring a certain kind of ethnicity more and put them in a patch, and people are looking at it on the voting padding side and stuff. But beside the voter padding and all of that, that's another ghetto. It's 10 years from now, that's what you're going to make. You have created it. We know what the ingredients are to make the perfect ghetto, and we are doing exactly that. Why?
I think it's to kind of force the play in terms of, I look at it it's a kind of heavy political move, because that's the only answer you're seeing it is, because why they are doing that and wasting state funds? Why do it? Why just build something proper and done? I mean, because houses come like, how we call it? One and done thing. You build one time and you spend one money, you get it done proper one time. Instead of say, oh gosh, we make a mistake, we'll break down and do it over again. That's wastage of money. Sometimes we see it happening, sometimes we don't. But to say build housing, yeah, they do, but we know how contractors in Trinidad operate. Let's be real, it's reality. They say they use 10 length of steel and they're only using 3. So, I mean, some of these houses are poorly built, let's be real.
Bro.
And from what I've been hearing is that when the housing tax evaluation comes up, half of these houses are half valued on what agency are priced for. So now you're seeing people asking questions, at what cost it really did take agency to build these houses.
So,
so I mean, yes, we look at it that way.
Right.
Is it cost effective?
No, it's not.
Is it gonna cost us more in the long run?
It's almost all of HDC houses are not profitable in how they're built and sold, because we build them for too expensive to sell them for what would be affordable housing. But part of the problem is that it's a contract for a contract for a contract for a contract. The people that actually build the house, the men with their hands on site, are subcontractors of a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a main contractor of a main contractor. Everybody mouth getting fed. And when the main contractor, his business is registered as a snow cone company. Wow. My house was valued from HDC 675k, private evaluation was 400k. His business is a snow cone company. He gets the contract from the government for this region of houses. He doesn't know a shovel from a trowel from a level. He knows nothing about that. So he's going to subcontract that out. He subcontracts it to a smaller contractor. The smaller contractor, he has enough money to play around. He is busy. He isn't even coming on the project. He subcontracts that out to a lot of small masons and small builders. And no one is paying attention because the main contract comes from someone who doesn't know anything about the job. The subcontractor is busy. He's just doing this as a by the way to fill his pockets. So the men on the ground, they might be workmen, but no one is supervising them. They know this is a money-making scheme. Everybody making money, I might as well make some money too. So I go in and load up some sand every day when I go in home with my van. I load up a couple bags and go with it. The steel that I'm supposed to use in the building, I carry in some home to build my house. I have a foundation building right now. I need a couple half-inch. Perfect. And that's just the system. And now you go around at those HDC houses. Listen, the workmanship in some of those houses are scary. It's scary. You as a contractor, you could make a living off of fixing badly built HDC houses. You could make a total living. That's all you do. You specialize in fixing badly built HDC houses. And then beside badly built, a lot of them are poorly designed. They place all of the plumbing behind a loaded wall, behind something. When the water starts to leak, the whole place flood out. You have to get a jackhammer to break down a wall to get to your madness. The amount of issues my neighbors have seen: electrical, plumbing, roofing, everything. I'm telling you, as I do contracting, a lot of our work is just it. You can't even the people haven't even reached to expanding their HDC homes. They have to basically finish building.
So in other words, you building your home while you building somebody else's home because you're taking some sand, you're taking some blocks, you're taking some steel.
Yes, that's very common, eh? That is very common.
Well, yeah, we see that happen with the sugarcane company. That is what happened with them.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I think that's just the dishonesty of Trinbagonians. Like, we so dishonest. Why don't you just build the proper house that they pay you to build? You understand? We never content. Like, why? And it's not just Trinbagonians, and I'm gonna be honest. I was talking to this lady when I went to St. Vincent, right? And she was like, "Oh, since Sandals come, they've been undercutting the not farmers, the agriculture people, right?" And she was saying, you know, like somebody would come, same kind of subcontract, but they go into somebody on the ground, and they would want to buy whatever for $3, and they'll sell it to Sandals for 10, right? And I was telling her, honestly, if your price is $3, then why should it bother you that the person selling it for 10? Like, why be not content with what we agree? Because you agree to it. If you don't find the $3 is worth it, then don't sell it for $3. Pull on and sell it on the market and sell it to individuals. But you're not looking at the $3. All your products go on. So you work for 2 minutes and that's it. But you know, we're not honest and we're not content. And I feel like that's probably like a big part of why, well, not we, but I think more people in general, human beings are very dishonest and they're very tricky. And they press on top because they just not living honestly or in the means.
You're right. This is a human problem, of course. It's a human issue. And that's why I don't like to blame Trinidad specifically. Yeah, Cass, you could jump in. I don't blame Trinidad specifically like that. It's a human issue. The thing is, how do you, as a society, enact policies, enact laws, enact or groom the culture in such a way that it works to hedge in that human nature? Because here's the thing. If you allow someone to build their home off of government resources, they're going to do it. You kind of have to stop it somehow. OHDC.
Hey, what's up, brother? So I'm currently sitting in my music.
Lucky man, boy. GT.
It's not lucky. It's all in what is if being honest with you. Ask everybody. Yeah. And somebody. Right? I get this much. You see how started building and the house of it. So is he called Ramsey? You've been forever. Well, fine, but then come on, if I don't feel two.
Ooh.
22. So that's a before thing. And I find out exactly the group asset idea. The wholesale business. So it's like they are taking.
Oh God. So they're running that is smart. The government running a smart man scheme. That is what you're telling me.
If it was because you're doing that, that's really that.
That is things you get blast for.
Sure. So then road and the tax communist, and I moved off the house. Could I say, well, yep.
Yeah.
Less and less space they have been given in recent years. So the prices have been going up and you're getting less space around your residence. It's so bad, long time in like duplexes and things, you would get like a little car. You could have been a little carport in front to protect your car from the elements and all these things. They put in the marker for your lot. As soon as you come out of your gallery area, there's a marker on the ground. And that is where your property ends. They say that where your car parking in front is open area now.
So wait. Where your car parking is not even your land?
No, it's open area. Open area. Right? So that is what they're doing. It has so much red tape, bro. To do anything is red tape. If you want to put up a little shed to put some tools, is red tape. If, bro,
is so much things, and I'm talking as the chairperson for the committee for my area. So I'm not talking
like the HOA, as it were. You're the head of the HOA.
Yes. Yes. So when I talk in here, it's not no just fly by night thing. Is information that I know that has been happening, right? When it comes to grass collection, wherever else in Trinidad and Tobago, do you pay for grass collection? Only in new HEC developments, you have to pay a HOA to handle your grass collection, to handle your grass cutting.
So what the corporation doing?
The corporation does not want to accept us. They are not accepting the new HEC developments because I hear this one. Most of the new developments have not been approved for building.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but they built it anyway because they take people money, so they had to provide the house. You know? So, by me here, we have a river running close by. We the residents keep together. Thank God is not a very huge development that, and well, my personality too, I can go around and kind of rally people. So I rallied the troops per se, and we protested in HEC office, and we made them come and clean this river by us. Right? If we don't do things as the entire group, like if it's one person go in and say, hey, this thing not looking good, this is bad, they will forget about you. The whole community come together, and that's the only time that they say like, okay, let me do something about this.
I still don't understand how, how you mean the government, local government, doesn't want...
That the local government is a different party than the government.
So let me say what's happening for my development. I can talk about mine, but it is something that happened to other developments as well, because I met with a few of the other chairpersons, right? When it comes to open land that HEC can build, most of these lands are on the outskirts of corporations, right?
See.
So while let's use I don't want to use my area. Let's say Princestown, right? Princestown Regional Corporation. If you come down to the end, or if you're heading towards Rio Claro, would fall into Mayaro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say HEC build a development on the outskirts of Princestown, but in theory it is closer to Mayaro. The residents of Mayaro might fall under for our normal elections, for governmental elections, they would fall under there for their candidate. But for local government, because of these stripping borders that we have for local government, might fall under Princestown. So that area is basically in between two sections of the country that overlapping between local and government. So the Princestown don't want to do it because it's actually a stretch for them to get to that far out of their corporation, and Mayaro don't want to do it because it's not in their section. So the residents, they're just in a thing, they don't know what to do. They move in, they have no place to throw their garbage. People, when we moved in here, before we had to hire a swim call to come and pick up our garbage, we had to take our garbage and basically go by our family and friends who have normal garbage collection and beg them, I can put this in your garbage, please. Grass cutting, like seed pepper thing, not coming in here. They're not coming because that is also controlled by the local government.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had to go by our MP and beg to get CPEP coming in here, and because it's an additional thing on CPEP's plate, they don't come every month. We might get it once every 2 months. You know, because it's a
Yeah.
paper that they do in the end. You understand? So yeah, it's a lot. Anything you want to ask me. I ask you now. I'm waiting for a question.
Here in the long run, it's just better you buy it private then, in a sense. Like the private planners, even the scheming private people, like they have better planning than the government. And this is the part that kind of confuses me regularly, you know. How you mean you as the government, you control so many different aspects of all that? You're controlling the utilities, you're controlling the contracts for garbage and all of that. How?
Hey, Nathan, man, that's the biggest question, I know. That's the biggest question in Trinidad and Tobago. How these things could happen? How in my little development we have, let me say, 200 units in my development, right? And that's fairly small for ATC. In my little development, 200 units here. It had 3 different contractors to do these buildings. So when you come in the first street, these houses look a little different from the ones in the middle, from the ones on the end. The plan is different. The layout inside is slightly different, even though they were supposed to be the same. And all priced the same. One contractor used better materials. I thank God I get one of the better ones. Right? But some of my neighbors, when they moved in, they basically had to, if the value of the house was 700,000, 650, whatever, they had to take out extra money to renovate this place to get it up
To the value that it said.
Standard. No, and living standard. I'm talking about the toilets, the fixtures that they put in, the counters and the sink and thing is wood. Imagine around your counter and your sink is wood, and I'm not talking about like wood, like from a tree. I talking about chipboard and things like this. Right? Cupboard falling off the wall. I had to fix a plumbing issue here within probably the month of me moving in, where.
And that's after you already wait 3. That's after you already wait 3 years for them to finish build it.
Yeah. That's after waiting 3 years. Moving in here, bro. As I said, electrical problems, plumbing problems. I had a leak in my wall, and they love to put pipe behind the wall.
I know that.
Pipe behind the wall, right? But they put the pipe behind the wall, and I wonder why this wall just cold. You know, you just see the.
You get the same. We have had to fix that problem multiple places.
Bro, when I opened the wall upright, that was behind the washing machine. You know, where the drain out is coming from the washing machine. So the pipe went into the wall. And I'm thinking, well, okay, it's probably an elbow in there, so it probably leaking. That was why I was thinking they probably didn't stick it, right? When I opened the wall later, it's because inside, instead of putting an elbow, they put a T. And they just put a piece of plastic bag with some stone and plug up the side. So every time I'm washing clothes, the water is just going into the pipe and spilling out into the wall.
And that's clothes wash water stain in your wall.
Yes. And I'm talking about the wall is nice and painted, you know. Yeah. Plastered wall, you know.
That's
the kind of thing.
That's something like somebody's supposed to be able to be sued or something over that, you know.
How?
Does.
What you say, Ronnie?
I say again, dishonest contractors.
Yeah, I agree. But
in the house.
But the thing is, contractors will be dishonest if you allow them to be. It's on the people who giving them the contract. What's that?
Let me defend the contractors for 1 second, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me defend the contractors contractors because I talk to them, right? So the first contractor, let me say they tell him 10 million to build this thing, right? They say, okay, we're giving you half upfront, right? So he is building for 10 units, and the total cost of 10 units is $10 million, but they give him 5. So he starts building on the hope of, okay, as I'm building, they will give me the rest of the money or whatever. 3/4 way through the project, halfway through the project, where's your some money? Or they were supposed to give me some money by this time to continue the work. No money available. This is things that happen to these contractors.
Yeah.
So while working, they cannot pay the workers. So they hire in anybody off the street that could hold a hammer because they could take $100, $200 a day. You understand? And have 2 skilled workers on the whole site that trying to monitor and maintain everything. It is not going to happen. You understand? They look for the cheapest labor because that is the only way they could get it done with the money that they get in.
That's true. That's very true.
So when the first contractor say earlier, I am not doing any more work, if they don't send you some money, all they do, they just find the next contractor and cut his contract, find the next one. So that is why in my little development, 3 different contractors finished here. And that is why it took me 3 years, because they had to find over a contractor and whatever. So while I understand it, have a lot of shady work that going on, you can kind of also see how we got to that point.
Yeah.
Where people not doing it properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. That's the point I'm making in that it's not like, you know, when people talk about businesses and the greedy businessmen and stuff, but businessmen have always been greedy. It's always been the same kind of businessmen we've had. So if something is different, it's not because the businessmen are greedy. They were always like that. So if the contractors are doing shady stuff, it's not because we have specially shady contractors. No, if contractors are given the incentive to be shady, they will be shady. And that's been a thing with government contracts for a while now. I remember under the partnership, that was a particular problem because they had a lot of contracts flowing in that time. And many people would be very happy, you know, government contract. If you get a government contract, you know, government contract can buy. But the problem with government contract is, when are you going to get the money? So, okay, you're doing the job now. And all right, you will get the money eventually, but you have men to pay today. And what would be why wouldn't I be incentivized to do as shoddy work as possible now, because I have to pay everything here out of my pocket. So I'm going to do this as shoddily as possible. The government didn't keep up their end of the bargain anyway. They were supposed to keep money coming. So I did it halfway. And they're not coming to come and check my work anyway. So why do I bother? Why do I care? Of course that's what's going to happen. That's not a surprise really now, is it?
But I gotta disagree, right? You and does not disagree. Just now, I'm not trying to be. Anyway, but okay, listen, right? If you have a government contract, right, and this is how it worked in sectors that I have knowledge in, right? They would take the contract, go to the bank, get a loan, and finish the work. And then when they get their money, they pay back the loan. And that's that. So I don't really see it as an excuse to do shoddy work.
I didn't say it was an excuse, because if you're a very honest person, you would still behave honestly. What I'm saying is, it's an incentive to do shoddy work. And ironically, that's the model that Tobago is talking about they want to use. That the contractors pay for it out of pocket and they pay them eventually. It's something that... What's that?
I said I prefer that, because why should we pay you and then you tell us that the work done, and when we look at the work, it's not looking like what we want. You understand? So why should you receive your money when it's not what we asked for?
And that's exactly the reason why some of them will be now self very shady about what they do there, because they're worried that on the other side, am I going to get my money? You know what? I looking to hedge my bets as much as possible. They might not pay me for this job, so let me do it as quick and cheap as possible. And if it's anything, it's not too much of a loss for me. It's shady stuff all the way around. That's not how the contract is supposed to go. If you want to do this thing nice and above board, you hire someone who is able and capable to do it. They give you their full price. You give them the activation cost. They start. You pay them when they're finished. That's how a contract should be run.
Well, to me, that's how it always is. You get a percentage up front.
No, that's not how it always is, because there are people waiting on government money from 2016 all now. There are people still suing the government for money all now, 10 years later.
Yeah, we know that it take long to pay. What I'm saying is, like, you don't get money mid-contract. At least I don't know of any situation where you get money mid-contract. That's weird.
It's not necessarily weird. It's according to how the contract is supposed to go. And in some cases it's supposed to go like that. Now, as I told you, with a lot of those HDC developments, how those contracts worked, the men who are building on the ground isn't the person who got the contractor. They are subcontractors. And a subcontractor does not have the overhead to be waiting on money years. He has to pay today. So the main contractor is the one who has his overhead, and he is looking to chop up money. And the main contractor made the contract with the government and pay, I'm doing this out as possible. They would squeeze the small contractor, saying, well, I'll squeeze back some on him. That's how I cut my cost. The small contractor is like, okay, fine, you could squeeze in a boss, and I will squeeze too. It's the way it's always happened. So, like, there are some old people out here that still have construction ideas from the 80s and 70s, want to hire someone to do some work on their house and say, son, I go pay you $250 a day to come and do the work here. And they think that they could control how much they're paying. I'll get a smart one over them and pay them $250 and get real work. You can't do that. They are the smart. They know how to work slow enough. They will give you $100 worth of work for that $250 you're paying them, and they will take 3 years to finish your job. So that's what happens on the bigger scale in some of those things. And when you have a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a subcontractor, you diffuse the accountability so much that who are you going to blame in the end? You can't blame Gregory and Son when he has a team of 5 men that he has to pay, the main contractor cutting him short, so he cut the house short. You could blame Gregory. And then, well, the main contractor, well, he was looking at overheads. Head office say that they're trying to cut costs because this is a pay and build out of pocket. So they're looking to cut costs as much as pocket. So they told as much as possible. So they told them to shave off a 10%. So they did. And all the way up, you have that nonsense going.
Yeah, and I saw some people kitchen is chipboard.
Then you have chipboard in your kitchen.
You understand? Yeah, I can see the way that they have broken up these contracts in a way where the contractor is almost in a position where his back is against a wall. You made all these subcontracts under this bigger contract that you have, and by the time you pay people different things, the material that you could buy to put into these places is not up to standard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I tell you, little pedestal, sinks, faucets, and things, I tell you the cheapest of the cheapest shower heads, the plugs, all them things have to change out because all them plugs are them shaky. You understand?
Yep.
And you don't pay the money for your place, better you do it and change it out. If you get an AGC house, I would recommend anybody, first thing you do, you change your doors, your locks, you change your electrical, you get somebody who is well known in electrical systems to come and run through your wiring in your house. Because if I pull on a switch and feed this for this room and it's for our next room, all kind of madness.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You have to get a plumber, come and check your things, because under the normal water pressure, you might be okay, but when you hook up a pump, the pipe gonna be busting inside your wall because man, let's stick it properly. You understand? And I still will tell anybody, if you have the option to build something for yourself, go that route. But honestly, a lot of people, they know somebody, so they try to get through with something. And if you get through with something with a AGC house, just know that if the house is $500,000, low, you have to have a 200 extra to fix what's in the house. That's just as plain as it is. And if you say anything other than that, you actually kind of fooling yourself. When you get an AGC house, you have to know that you have to spend some money on it. Have to. For it to be comfortable for you to live in, have to spend some money on it.
Mm-hmm. Ria, I 100% agree on the sell people the land and let them build in. I said that idea years ago, and I think you'd actually help the economy way more. Instead of giving the biggest contractors most of the lion's share of the money, what that would do is it would disperse the money among smaller contractors, because if someone has land and their individuals are building one houses, they're going to hire smaller contractors. The money is going to go through the economy more. That would make a lot of sense. But then how would your big contractor financier friend make a couple $1 million for doing nothing, you know? Your friend has to make that ain't some food.
That's how it works. That actually makes sense. They tried that in San Fernando. They tried that in Union Hall. When Union Hall just started, they sold the lots under NHA, and they approved, I think it was like 6 different
plans.
Drawings.
Yeah.
You could give your contractor to use, so that the drawings are already approved by the country, whatever. So you could just pick one and build your house. And it worked for one section of Union Hall in San Fernando. It worked.
That, of course.
I don't think I heard about that anytime after.
Really?
They're making enough money from that.
Financiers wouldn't like the idea. No, that is a horrible. No. Bad idea, government. Bad idea. And Ria, you say your whole HDC responsible, they need to inform you. HDC doesn't even know all of the problems in their buildings, you know. They don't know. Some of the problems you wouldn't even know until you feel how cold your wall is and you recognize, wait now, they didn't glue the pipes in the wall. Listen, there are some plumbers out there who don't glue at all. They don't know what and you see, if you're not gluing, you could finish a house you could do plumbing. Plumbing is real quick. House done. It's a Lego setup, and as you say, regular water pressure usually. Plumbing with a hole with no glue for sometimes forever. But when you see you want to bring your big pump and you pour on your 1,000 gallon and you say, yes, I want my shower to be spraying, man. You buy your shower to spray it from all sides and things, so you want up that pressure. And you hit your pump the first time, so yet, and you find, how the pump staying on for so long, boy?
Why the pump not cutting off?
Why this pump not cutting off at all? And all of a sudden,
and then you realize, what's now? Why this pump? Why am I seeing it? Let me show you something. So, put the 2 bathrooms up in the house, right? So this is in my kitchen here. Yeah. So this is in my kitchen.
oh gosh.
Kitchen. Right? You see, let's see.
Yes.
Right. I had to pay a contractor $10,000 to do on my bathroom because somehow AGC workers just don't know how to put a pipe through the flooring and send it out. Right? It doesn't matter what I did. I tried to like patch it. I tried, but wherever they did with the drain coming through to the tile, they did not seal it off properly. So no matter how I tried to seal it after, it didn't make sense. I just had to take off like just retile the bathroom. You know what I mean? It did not make sense. Imagine my wife upstairs baby, I sit down in the living room and I hear, why I hear this drip? What was this noise? When I watch it, because water falling from the ceiling downstairs in the house. I want to know where is this other? Baby, take off the water. Because water is concrete.
Yes, that's Daddy.
I have a neighbor, bro. That's she called me a neighbor alone in the house. She called me about 10 o'clock like, oh my God, yes, I'm so sorry to wake you up. I said I wasn't sleeping. What happened? She said, Cass, there's my toilet upstairs. Water just running out from behind the toilet. I said, what? She said, yes, water is running out. I had to go 10 o'clock in the night and look for this woman man outside. And it's because, again, shadow, somebody didn't stick the pipe behind the toilet. So it just bust out.
That is wickedness, you know. That is wickedness, you know. And I remember we did one, as you see, we changed the door. I remember we did one, we fixed the door, and the door couldn't lock. The way how the door was placed in, the door could not lock.
Yeah. Yes, bro, and they're telling you that.
And they're sending you there to live. How you go and live and the place can't lock?
What do you mean? How? Why?
Door can't lock properly. When you lock the door, the pillar that they put for the door to lock in, the whole pillar shaking.
I saw there was some they placed the door hinge on the outside. And you know, if your door hinge on the outside, somebody could come and just the door on the wrong side. The windows don't open. By the time you get to the houses, all the windows spoil. None of the windows opening, so you have to change out all your windows. Yeah, nah. And that's why I say, what's the point of all of that? And then on top of it, they're making ghettos. When they actually get some right, the way how they create some of those things, they're making ghettos. Like almost all of the ghettos in Trinidad have HDC housing. Why do it? That way you spoke about there with Union. If I'm thinking Union right now is a nice middle class community. Certainly not a ghetto. You wouldn't call Union a ghetto a whole. That's how you do it. If you have plots for everyone, like I make this example. I've lived in some communities where, you know, some of the youths harden and strip it the same way. They want to go down the bad man route. But because of the nature of the community, everybody's house is separate. There aren't enough youths in one street to make a gang. It's 5 bad, annoying fellas that have. You can't make a gang with 5 men. 1 man dead and the gang mash up. When you have those communities where one high-rise building have 50, 60, 70 youth men that have nothing to do when the day comes, no yard to play in, they all have to be congregated on the same corner. Mervyn Manrique says high demand for homes. I agree there's a high demand for homes, but I don't think that's the reason they build homes like that. Because there's land. Land isn't the issue. Trinidad has a lot of residential land where you could build on. Don't let anyone fool you. And as I said at the very beginning, Trinidad's population has been reading 1.3 million since the 80s. It's not like we have a population expanding like ants and rash all over the place and we don't have houses for them. That's not true. People take... Well, that's part is true.
Why would I make children if I'm renting in a 1-bedroom apartment two-bedroom apartment paying $3,000, $4,000 for rent. I'm not feeling comfortable as I can talk to people who are around my age. You're not comfortable. When you think you barely surviving, you and your significant other are barely surviving on 2 salaries. Or they're gonna bring a child to suffer here, right? That's the thought that a lot of persons, young professionals who have good jobs, when I talk to my friends, good jobs, working at making a decent living, well, what was considered to be a decent living, you know? And they're like, boy, if I am to make a child, I don't know how you will survive.
The thing, and to me, one of the best answers to that make a child thing is homes. As you said rightfully, if I'm unemployed, but I own my house, I own my home, I would feel like I could make a child. At least, you know.
I'll consider it. I'll at least consider it.
Yeah. I could plant my yard. I have a yard, my child could thing. I plant some okra in my yard, we'll eat. I'll plant some edos, and we could make some. If I'm renting and I have a job, that seems a little more iffy, especially if I'm renting an apartment. If you're renting an apartment, how do you expand from that? I could understand that. Home ownership is hard. Yes, it is hard. I know. If you don't have the ability for family to give you, or you inherit or something like that, to just be sitting there in your 20s or 30s and looking at a home and they're telling you 2.5 million, and no way you do the mathematics, does the mathematics math. It's just not going to add up. You are not going to save up $2.5 million. Your salary doesn't qualify for it. And even if somehow you could ratch and make your salary qualify for it, when you watch how much you're going to have to pay per month for how long, this looking depressing.
Yeah, there's something called a bad mortgage. If your mortgage is basically putting you, yes, you're in your house, but you can't even buy a pack of sugar to put in your pantry, then you're in a bad mortgage. And a lot of people take mortgages that are at the top of their range because they like a nice house, they like a nice thing, and then they still want to buy a car. So wherever excess is into the car, and of course cars have to maintain, the house have to maintain.
Bro, you know, some people watching the middle class and upper middle class people and don't know, some of them have less disposable income than you, innit? When the month come, you could decide to buy a doubles and a pie, and I wonder if I'm feeling for cornflakes or frosted flakes this month. You know, I will splash out and buy a honey bunches of oats. Some of them, that's not an option, innit? They have to get what's the most basic thing? And margarine, butter? No, not butter. Margarine, please. Margarine. The cheaper one.
I have a friend who was quarreling about their children were eating out the Chips Ahoy, right? I am saying, listen, you can buy Chips Ahoy for your child. My child is in Dixie and Blue Boy. My child can't eat Chips Ahoy. Yeah,
By is what you mean Dixie? Mango, cherries, plum. Things.
Rent? My goodness.
Jeez.
But even as you say, people taking at the higher end of the range, like the higher end of your range, especially if it's a single person, it's not even an HGC house. You understand? I did my pre-qualification. I only qualified for like 600,000. Why is that barely an HGC house? You understand? So we ain't even taking it first fight. We just can't.
I let you all know the idea of a mortgage to me always sounds so scary, innit? What do you mean I am tied to this institution for a decade? For 2 decades? So you mean 20 years I just paying you 30 years. I am 30 now. When I'm 60.
Yes, sir. So here's this one thing. Here's this story from one of the residents here, right? Same thing happened to her because of 2019, right? She made her down payment. So in 2019, she and her husband qualified for the place, right? They made the down payment, so she's already listed, right? Nice. Between those 3 years, her husband passed. Okay? She already paid her down payment. That is non-refundable, might I add. She now, at this point, the mortgage is too much, actually too much for what she was making. You know what she had to do? Whatever insurance she got from her husband's passing, she had to actually put that towards the capital of the loan, so that it would drop
the monthly payments.
And so that she could be able to keep the place. Otherwise, she would have lost it. So your husband there, you can't even enjoy the little extra money you get. You have to put it towards the house.
That is compounding on a bad boy. Oh gosh, boy.
Boy, so when I tell you, I know that there are a lot of people in this country that will never be able to say, this is my house.
Yeah.
A lot of people in this country will never be able to say that. I thank God that I'm just over 30 and can say I have a home. I would consider myself privileged. I know that. Of course, with hard work and whatever to get to this point, yes, and favor in some areas. But still, that doesn't mean that somebody like me didn't or hasn't had issues growing up. I grew up in a single parent house. My mother was a kindergarten teacher. Didn't really have anything. When we finally started get free-footed, my mom got married, had a stepdad growing up. He ended up passing away too. So it's like when I hear people say, well, nah boy, you had to, kind of figure it out. Yes, you have to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
And once you school, get some qualifications and started with your petrol. You had to tell that story and just pause at Petrochin for the trainees in the audience to understand. And I thought I real get trainer, I started working Petrochin. Thought I get through, you get to save some money. I think, and I still thank God for the about I think 8 years I worked there, that I could have put aside some money and whatever. So by the time the agency did call, at least I had the down payment to pay them. A lot of people in Trinidad feel agency free, when they call it's just daily keys, just so it's not that. You have to have the money to pay them. Don't call somebody and get a link. And when the link organized for you, go and meet the minister, whatever, and when the minister send your name to the agency, you cannot pay. They will skip you.
I noticed that lots of people in Trinidad think they have the impression that HDC free. Like, I living in the hospital and I need a house. Like, if you living in the hospital, HDC can really help you because obviously you can't afford to pay. The houses aren't free. In fact, they're getting kind of more expensive than the market value too. Some of the houses really and truly. And as you see, the price they tell you the actual valuation of that is usually a good, significantly lower because the workmanship is shoddy.
You have to have a down payment, Ronnie. You have to. I think it's about 30% or 20% of the value of the property. You have to have your down payment. And let me tell you, when you get the initial call, right, they say, okay, well, Mr. Ramsey, you've been approved for this place. The value of the place is 600,000, 700,000. Today is Wednesday. we need you to come in to the head office next Wednesday to make your down payment. That is how soon we call it. I'm telling you, you have to have that money waiting.
I find that's a setup though.
No,
That's a setup. So wait.
after you wait 40 years,
How
you call. You want me come next week?
how I supposed to know on 40 years notice that I supposed to have 120,000 sit down there? So you trying to tell me all middle class people who apply for HDC just supposed to have a fixed deposit account holding a 150,000 waiting on the HDC house?
Yeah, I would say at least a 60K. 60K, yeah. I'm a 60K.
But that's your security money. That's the savings that you were saving for the rainy day. A house is not a rainy day. And then after you get the house, you have to spend 68 to fix
But
it.
Ronnie, wait. You're forgetting steps in the process. You forget. He paid the down payment in 2019 and got the house in when? 23?
22.
22, that's 3 years?
I am
So you
so
still
glad,
paying
bro.
rent. My gosh.
I'm so glad that they called me before the pandemic hit because I would not have had that money. I promise you.
Facts.
Promise you.
Facts. Now, like imagine you have a little savings, but you're thinking a little investment business idea or something because you know you're a progressive thinker. You don't want to just sit down on one. Like, it's really and truly bad financial advice if you have 150,000 cash, just sit on it. So you're looking to use that and utilize it. You now use it and invest it somewhere, and HDC call you, next week bring 100. So drug dealers is the people HDC calling then.
Yeah, the second one. That's crazy. And the houses like but I just see actual banks with mortgage, for actual mortgage to buy proper house.
Everybody to go through the bank, but you can get a mortgage with the bank and build your house.
As
If you find a lot of
Why doesn't even want to
and you try your best to build it for yourself, I'm telling you.
I am telling you all as a contractor, he is 100% right. And I mean, even on the side of buying from developers, it makes more sense you build your own. When you buy a house that's already built, you have no idea what's underneath the concrete, you know. You have no... And listen, you might have zero idea how much of zero cares some contractors give about your safety, you know. They do not care. They will allow the house to fall on you. They will not give it a second thought. That's why when you build your own house, even though you know you might still have some problem with the con, you're right there. You're watching and you could ask him, but I'm not supposed to start stealing it. But wait, what am I doing there? You can ask some of those things. And in these times where, you know, we have more finishes, like at least in the 90s or early 2000s, you bought a house, it have white paint on it, you can still kind of see where the cracks are. When they do moldings and stucco and finish off with a soffit ceiling on the edge and seal the inside and put crown molding and floor molding on all the... you just walk in and like, ooh, that look good, boy. Build your own. And oftentimes it almost would certainly come out cheaper. Almost would certainly.
What's on container houses?
They work once you know what you're doing. Because bear in mind, containers aren't made for living. So they have to be retrofitted properly to have the right amount of ventilation and stuff. But there are some people who do it good.
All the electrical have to pass, all the things you have to consider.
Yeah.
Is it more expensive? Or is it more reasonable?
You know, to be honest, I'm not 100% certain, but let me put it this way. What I have noticed, the people I've seen building container houses are generally wealthier people. I haven't seen much poor people building container houses.
street.
But Kes, you ever see? I haven't seen a poor person put up a container house yet. I've seen wealthy people putting up a little container house on their property. You know, we're trying something there. That's not.
You know that extra 5 acres in the back? Yeah, we just put up something there with 20
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
You know, when
I love the idea of
they
it.
have somewhere to stay, you know? They don't have to sleep. I was in the pool. Where the pool is to the back, we just put like 3 containers together.
Correct.
Many people together, really nice, and there's a step inside and thing, you know.
But you see George, who inherit a plot of land from his father who recently died, and he just trying to build something to come in. George still building concrete and blocks. That's what he's still building. I haven't seen George attempt to buy a 40-foot container yet, a 20-foot container yet. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because you can go by the hardware, and some hardwares might pay a little credit. So you can come and you can pick up 4 pallets and break and pay them over time, you know. So your things could be doing while you're building more money to continue the project. You can come and you can say, hey, I know I buy 10 sacks of cement, but I need 2 more. Let me pay 10 a bill now and in a small hardware, and you might get through.
And you know that.
You can't go out and put no container
Take the 2
And that's the problem with certain building styles. That's why, like, even HDC, the idea that you're talking about there, that mightn't be the best thing for certain middle class families, because if you're talking a lump sum and a mortgage, maybe the best thing might be a small mortgage to purchase the land, and you build slowly over time. Maybe a credit union loan by credit union loan. You know how many families in Trinidad build and expand their homes, credit union loan by credit union loan. Every 2-3 years, they get the $30,000 loan. They call in the builder. They build an extension. Next 2 years, they get a next 30,000. They put in a ceiling. Next 2 years, they get a next 30. They air condition everything, and so they go. And that way, to me, land would have made a lot more sense. People would build. Instead of you giving them these setup houses that falling apart. Hey!
Even with the designs, bro. Even with the design on this house, right? They made a kind of planter trough thing to the front there. That is a waste of time. All they do is collect water. When rain falls, it is just full of water. It makes no sense. And you have no access to it. Even if you want to put plants in it, you have to jump out a window to get to it. I just try to understand. You just say, yeah, boy, let me sign off on this. So my building has 4 units, right? I'm on an end, thank God I get an end.
I hate them big boy.
What for?
My neighbor in the middle there, when she ready to wash her car, she had to come and ask me, yes, I could borrow your hose, please, to wash my car. Because if she wants to use the only access she has to water, they didn't put a pipe to the front. She would have to get a plumber to come and basically break her wall and run a pipe through the house to get her faucet to the front for her to wash her car.
And it's concrete block walls, eh?
It's packed walls.
Concrete block packed walls. Yes.
These walls are sturdy.
They're very sturdy. Yeah, very sturdy. This is one thing. The concrete is good concrete. I wouldn't lie.
Yeah, because that wasn't Mendo mixed that concrete, and that's already mixed. That just coming by the truckload. And you know what's the wicked thing? That is kind of the wicked thing, because now the contractor coming to fix back the thing. And where in normal building they would have had 3 inches of concrete. Them fellas didn't worry. They pour 8 inches of concrete.
What?
You all your jackhammer, it weighing down, all your tips going from beating concrete, because concrete was no problem for them. Just bring in an next truck. Yeah, boy, come in, pour. The thing's supposed to be 3 inches, is 6-8 inches. They don't care. Try fixing it now.
If I try one normal bit, it can work. You have to go for a diamond tip. The diamond tip, I have to buy two because I'm drilling. I call my partner and pay for next drill. For him more powerful drill to come and just put up a TV on the wall. Because the wall so hard. It's just, you know, when you're drilling a normal house, you drill first, you pass the mortar, the red brick, and then you go through.
Yeah.
It's a hard that is like you're drilling into stone, my lord. Stone, my.
Yep.
It just happens. And yes, it's good that you don't hear your neighbors nothing, and I appreciate that. Your neighbor could be fighting the next time you don't know. Because it no sound to that. But boy, that thing is pressure.
Yeah. And personally, as I say, I don't find that is ideal human living. Like, I don't find that's ideal human living. I think people would like a yard. I've been working, we work on some, and it's bacchanal in the community because the same thing like that, the 4 units in one and a 4 unit behind this unit, and okay, there's a road there, but the people, when they have to travel out, they rather walk this way, because to walk through that road they have to go all the way around. So they're walking through this yard here and they're walking through somebody else's yard, and the people don't like people walking through the yard. So they ain't really thinking, and they want to build a fence, but they don't know where to build the fence because they're not sure about the bound. And when they build the fence, they go and cause these people in the back there to get vexed because they go and have to walk all the way around. So,
she had to come here 6 times already in the 2 years I've been living there.
Sort out bacchanal.
Yes, to sort out bacchanal. This is how many bong was and thing. And I didn't pull up in it because I am actually a person in the area. So I can pull up in this thing. You understand? But the way that they built it, they did not go into like proper planning and giving people enough space. Some of the units have a drain in between, so at least you know, well, okay, there's no boundary. Some have no drain, it's just grass in between. So wherever you and your neighbor decide is the middle, is the middle. That's craziness.
That is craziness. That is, and I watch some of those communities and I see how negative things develop in a community where your family doesn't even have privacy. You don't have that ability to cut off your family from outside. So if you have a son, if you have a daughter, and you may not like the influence of the neighbors on your child, well, you have to keep your child inside, because once they go outside, it's a communal thing. Everybody are always in the other person's yard. I just don't think that's ideal living. I don't think that's ideal living. And I mean, to think about it, where the government doing this. I mean, like, if it was a private builder who's maximizing profit, well, you do your thing, boss, you maximize your profit. But if it's the government, you would think that you're aiming this to, you know, help families and develop good communities and engender trust and so on and so on. Well, you would do it smarter than that, I would think.
But I was thinking, if you have your own land, I believe, I don't know if it's like local government or if it's some kind of rural development or whatever. If you have your own piece of land, they build a house for you, it's either 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, right? But you had to be making like less than 10,000 or some shit like that. So again, middle class people are screwed over. Because if you married, your combined income in most cases would be over $10,000, right? So you can't benefit from it. So most times it's just be like people who not even working that get it. So sad.
And many of those things aren't necessarily as straightforward sometimes to apply and get it. Like you think like, okay, I don't have 10,000 and I have land, I apply, and good luck, maybe 10 years down the road. And the thing with plenty with
my Guyanese neighbor have the building she house, you know?
Yeah, because your Guyanese neighbor probably was willing to pull a string. That happens. That does. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but very often those things get delayed like that. And some of those things, if it's delayed for, like, especially as you're talking about middle class. If you're a middle class person, and all right, let's say my roof is leaking badly, horribly, and I apply for a grant because I don't have the money to fix my roof right now. They have some roof fixing grant or something like that. And they take 15 years to give me my grant. As a middle class person over 15 years, you would fix the roof by then. You would save up and scrape up and cut a cost and cut a cost. If you give me it after 15 years, it doesn't even help in that situation. It doesn't even work for that benefit anymore.
I want to say one thing and then I'll go to my bed. I feel like, and I say this as kind as possible, I feel like our people, like my people, let me say it, like my people want instant gratification with their investments. Where my wife is a doula and her grandfather buy a plot of land. And the son split up the land and developed some of the land and was able to sell piece and do something on piece of the land, build a house. And now his children could benefit from this investment that was made years before. I feel like my people is so, boy, I want to live in my house. You ain't studying, okay, let me at least get my children one step closer. We're so selfish-minded when it comes to what we can acquire and grab onto while we living in this short life we have here. We're not considering the next, a lot of us, we're not considering the next generation and pushing our family forward in the long run. So instead of we say, hey, you know what, boy, me and my brother, we good, and now instead of it being 2 incomes, it could be 4 because he married. I wonder if the 4 of us go for a loan together, how much we can get, boy? We might get twice the amount. We might be able to build a nice duplex on a 2 lot of land, and both families be, because it's guaranteed more than 4 people might be able to pay a loan. Nah, like my brother, no, I love him, no, but I can't, nah, boy, I can't do that. Can't do that. We real kind of small-minded, where a lot of other ethnic groups, a lot of other people, you see them, for one generation, all of them living in one house, you know, Tanti, Lenin, of everybody upstairs, and children downstairs, and everybody are married, and everybody come in here, and they hire wedding on your house right there. And in 2-3 years, the lots of land next door that was just grass, everybody build up and do something. But we real kind of small-minded, and I keep trying to change that mindset with my friends.
Yep.
Also, I do have any friends around me that's still on that crab in a barrel kind of mentality. If I see you, Nathan, doing well, at the end of the day, what is mine is mine. What if I do like what you do it's not gonna make me get in a place any quicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Boy, what you saying there? I made that observation a while ago, because I'm also married across, so you know you could see and you could compare, and it's the understanding of life as a relay across generations that some people seem to get much clearer. That okay, yeah, I could go through 70 years of difficulty, because my aim is that the next 70 years is going to be an easier run for the next people. And then the next 70 years is going to be an easier run for the next people. Yo, good night, cuz. And you keep doing that, and you see the benefits of it. Sometimes you hear some of those stories of grandfathers on one end, and you know, yeah, he had owned so many acres, and wait now, well, he had sell it, and what you do with the money? Well, you know, what you mean?
My grandfather, my grandfather had 13 children, right? And had one lot of land. He used to plant garden on an acre of land that was near his house, right? The person who owned the land, seeing him planting on the land, and instead of telling him don't plant, tell him here what? Buy the land now. I ain't gonna take all from your payment parts, but buy the land, you have plenty children. My grandfather, God rest his soul, but that was the most stupidest thing he's ever done. The man said, nah, I have a piece of land already.
For 13 children.
For 13 children. One lot of land versus an acre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a mentality switch, if it's some education maybe, if it's some tutoring, because I feel like a lot of us as well, we feel like we know it all, boy.
Yeah.
I feel like I am an adult now, nobody can tell me nothing.
Correct.
Nobody can. You know what I mean? We don't want to take advice from other people when somebody advising us on something. We feel like if they make it, we feel like if we do this.
Correct, bro. And I'm grateful. My grandmother did the reverse of that. My cousin right there, they're still there, acres upon acres, and it was easier for her back then, but the benefit is still there. The family has an estate. You could just go and pick fruits and get the benefit of that. If anything ever goes south, you could go down there and plant something and build something and you're good. That's something that is there. And many people seem like they didn't have that kind of vision. And it was much easier at a certain point in time. It's much more difficult now. But not impossible. And as you're seeing, it's for the generation now to hold on to a different vision of that. And to me, as I find when I look out, I find many of the, especially young men, I can speak for young men because they are my peers, they seem to have a different view. I find many of the young fathers I see on a different bend. They aren't on that selfish me and end it there. I find I'm seeing a lot of good smart fathers who are willing to sacrifice and put the things in place. And although, as you were talking about, yes, things are difficult, but you have to figure it out. And I'm seeing guys figuring it out. I love to see it. No envy in that. You see some men and they hit onto a business wave. A guy, he mightn't be that genius. He might not have been the smartest in school, but he figured out a niche market in a little business and the guy is making it. More power to him. And there are those opportunities out there for people. Many of those opportunities. And the internet provides a lot of those things. Like, bro, if you feel you're good at something, go on the internet and show them how good you are at it and see if it works. There's an idea.
Just to piggyback on what you're saying, because I remember having the same conversation years ago with some co-workers about insurance, right? Because they was like, why are you taking insurance? I got insurance really young. I was like 20 years old when I got all my insurance policies, right? Which made it cheap for me. And they was like, why are you getting insurance for?
So
you don't even have nobody.
You have a nice insurance plan by now, Gil.
Huh?
So your insurance plan good?
Yeah, I can cash in any of my insurance. I can, if AGC call me today, cash in my insurance. but yeah, and it's like, I even had this one coworker, and she had like 6 children, and she was like, why should I even get life insurance? I would die and not even benefit from it. I was like, bruh, your child will get it.
Oh my God.
I'm so
Instead of leaving them in debt. Come on.
Bro, I not getting it when I dead. Hard luck. That is. Woo.
That was real. Listen, I was shook. When I heard that, I was just like, okay, I don't see it.
So children out here to suffer. You,
well,
son.
Because she had her own home and whatever she had, give them that.
Listen. A home is better than none. But if you have a multiplicity of children and leave one home, you're probably leaving Bacchanal.
Real fight.
Ronnie, remember I was reading a story in Chin Chin, the granddaughters trying to lock out the uncle out of a piece of property because the grandmother leave it for all of them, and you remember that Bacchanal?
Yeah.
So here now, get the acre, split it up, so all down to your grandchildren and thing could still get. An acre is 10 lots. An acre is I think it's 10 lots. 10 lots in an acre. 10.
If it's one thing, I think my great grandfather bought a few, well, an acre and some other land somewhere else. And you know the worthlessness that man is. Decided to he was paying like $14 a week, right, for this land. And he decided, you know what, I want to drink alcohol, so like, screw this. And my grandfather, who was very young at the time, had to pay off for that land. And none of his brothers and sisters knew about it. But the mother knew. So when she was dying, she willed him the bigger share of the land. And all his brothers and sisters was upset. Like, why she gave him so much land? And then none of them don't know, you know. When the man was not working, he had his wife and must be one child. He used to take his money every week and go and pay for that land. Nobody don't know. Which is why I don't like family secrets. Because they're very ungrateful and they talk about him bad. But they don't know why. That's why I don't like family secrets either. But yeah, and I must.
I end up falling in a similar situation with that too. But yeah, that's a whole next story.
that.
But just.
As you're saying it done, right, you really have to figure it out. I honestly, growing up, would have never thought that I would be making videos on social media and like having comedy shows. But this is what for the last, how long have you been for those now? This is what has been paying my bills for the last how much of my years. Doing videos and having comedy shows, something that you have not seen. Well, it's probably only able to do in a time like this with social media.
Yeah.
Time them whole comedians couldn't do that. They had to have a promoter and whatever to sell the shows. But thank God for the time that we are in, that you can use any tool that you have to make it work. You know, you have to figure it out. So as we are the topic, I'm having a comedy show in Snap on the 29th. If anybody's interested, they can come down.
Word.
It's $200. If you want a 2-for-1 special, we have 2 for $300. If you want somebody special on the top. Yeah.
Well placed advertisement, so well placed.
Nice. So I'll be going and hug up my nice two grandma there that teach me about managing money. I'll hug her up tonight. Let me tell you one story before I go. Women are the real influential when it comes to how your boyfriend, person you're interested in, manages their money. When I met my girlfriend, or my wife, when I met her, I was working Coca-Cola as a merchandiser. I was working, I would say, I think it's around $2,000 a week I was working for as a merchandiser. As somebody fresh out of school. Every week I'm buying a shoe. Every week I'm buying a clothes. Every week I'm buying this, I'm buying that. I just buying because I am thinking I'm young and I really have nothing to, what I saving money for? What am I, what I think when she came around, right? I think it was a Thursday I got paid. And the next Monday, she called me, hey, morning, whatever. I said, yeah, girl, I'm now looking to ask my mother to drop me to work pay. She said, well, why you have to ask him? I thought he was traveling to work. Girl, I really have no more money to pay for transport to. She said, listen, I think we're going to have to have a serious conversation about finances. If you plan to be with me in a serious relationship, we need to talk. And sat me down let me know that money is a tool.
Mm-hmm.
You can either use it to benefit yourself now, like a short crop. You can plant some bok choy and some lettuce, and you'll get it in a couple of months. Or you could plant a starch mango tree, and 10 years down the road you'll have starch mango. You know what I mean? And you'll have starch mango to share. You could continue buying a starch mango every year when the season comes. You could continue buying a bag of starch mango, but that's all you will get. If you don't take the time with an investment that will take some time before you get it back, that's the only way you can really kind of get over that. And I had to watch this little black girl inform me that I'm doing nonsense. And explain to me that, you know, she has seen her parents who make much less than what I was making at the time, and for sure less than what I was making when I was working in Petrogen, and were able to build their house, were able to send her to university, not in this country, were able to do so much with less because of the mindset of what you see money as.
Mm-hmm.
And I think me recognizing as a 22-year-old, 21-year-old, that money is a tool that you have to use, made me not see it as just something that I could get something now without just when I get this, I just want to get this now. And able to put things in place, to buy my first vehicle, be able to sell it when I was getting married, have some money to actually marry the girl in the first place. You know what I mean? I was saving nothing at all, Springer.
Bro, Hiana, I always thought, I'm a teacher still, and even through the teenage years I used to teach, and private tuition is a good bit of cash for a short period of time. So you always had cash, fluid, and it's cash. When you go to teach a class, I spend 2 hours here and I get the cash right after. I am always flush with cash. When I look back through some of my late teens, early 20s, and I look at how I used to spend money, I could go back in time and hit myself some real hard bellas. Because there were times where I made a lot of, like, for a young fella, I was making a good bit of money.
I rely with you, for balance.
But as you grow older and you recognize certain things, and my wife, she's from Guyanese stock, and those Guyanese know how to handle money. They know how to make this money. I mean, they have to add a lot of numbers for their money, so they know how to deal with it. And but as you get older, you recognize, at least you're supposed to be able to recognize those things. And what you're saying is true. If you ended up with a hot gal who wanted you to put out the money for her, or now you're still blinging and you're probably still working Coca-Cola.
How you mean? I'm telling you, scranton week to week. You understand? But you're looking good.
Look at it good.
What? Is it that you all men? Is it that you all men who make a lot of money go to the same course? Because every single man who's make plenty money is the same shipping story. Like my friend's husband, when they met, he was working Petrogen too. He never used to wash clothes. When he wear it, he throw it away and buy new clothes. She's the one who taught him how to wash clothes. So he was like, he gave her the money and she's like, what is for? And he was like, that's the money I would have paid to buy new clothes, but you help me wash my clothes, so you take it. Well, good for them, they're married for today, I'm happy for them. But I think he's in NGC now though. He jumped ship before.
Yeah. But it's
funny,
but it's something young men are generally more impulsive. It's why young men make bad decisions in the first place. They're impulsive. And this fella speeding a little bit. Your job is to, hey, honey, slow down. Let's make it through life together at a proper speed. Ronnie, you could still find him yet, Ronnie?
Nah. Fellas want me to money, one like to gamble, so buy it. And I'm still a no gambler, and one like to drink, so bye.
Something my mother did when I started working, right? And at the time, I was very annoyed by it. But in the long run, it paid off well, right? My mother said, "Yes, you're living in my house still, you're working. I want you to pay something towards a bill." And I was mad. Mommy, but you was paying me bills all the time. I was in Brooklyn, this house. But my mom actually opened a separate account, and every month when I got money, whatever, and I gave her something, she didn't even give a specific amount. She just said, every month, some.
You might mute there.
When I was getting married,
Like your battery die or something, never.
yeah, well, my sister spending the night by me, so she called to say she outside. Yeah, she put aside that money, and when I was getting married, she actually gave me the money that I've been giving her for how much ever years I was there.
You see,
It's something as a parent that not taking anything out of your pocket
Yeah.
will greatly benefit your child.
yeah. You know,
You know?
even that, some parents, if they don't have the discipline, they could have the idea that they want to give you that money, but that's spent too in. That gone in it. When you don't have the discipline, you can't save. Money can't see itself around you. It gone.
Yeah. Somebody has to see some zeros in that account. They want to buy.
I know, but bro, you see how you have to be grateful for everything, like even with your difficulties, that your mother was still willing to do some of those things. I know some people, they're in a situation where they live in with their mother and they have to be hiding their money in all kind of corners because their mother is stealing their money in. They can't leave a cent lying around because moms will go with it. Right. Ronnie, yes. I have a friend of mine, he believes for certain, just last weekend, about a couple thousand. Those things happen. I mean, a dishonest young person grows up and makes a child, they're just going to be a dishonest parent. So there are those out there.
Oh my gosh, motherhood did nothing for them.
No.
Yeah, but just to your point, you had made a point about men being fathers, and I just want to commend all the fathers out there, all they're like literally trying to be fathers, and I'm so happy to see it. Like, we happy seeing them deadbeat something. I'm happy, like they out there doing it in their children life.
Well done, Dad. Well
I'm
done.
glad that you said that, Ronnie. I'm so glad that you said that. So glad. I tell you. Yeah, last week I went to a play park. And I'm in the play park and I'm looking around and I'm like, what? It have more fathers here for the
Facts.
children.
Facts.
Yeah.
Fathers come out.
And the mothers. When I go to pick up my son from school, I am seeing almost a half and half with mothers and fathers there to pick up the children. That was something that was very common in my age.
Yeah.
That was like that at all, That was mommy's job. Mommy had to go and get them children and whatever.
The pops them stepping out.
Yeah, you see a lot of fathers, even when the relationship is not what it should be, and
Yeah.
they had some separation,
Mhm.
you're still seeing the fathers making an effort to be in the children's lives. And I'm really grateful to see that. And I just hope that the next generation, sometimes things just go up and down. I just hope that the next generation don't go fall back into the nonsense, and that we actually kind of get a progression with
Yeah.
with men being more willing to show that love and show that kind side of masculinity, because there is a kind love as a man that you could give to your children.
Correct.
That I sure didn't from a father, he wasn't here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of men are making the right decisions. I think we just need to figure out as best as possible how we could put our children in a better position than us in whatever way we could, you know. Whether it's through education, at least you get them through school, whether it's you buy a piece of land and you can put something aside for them, something we have to figure out what little advantage we could give to our children going forward to give them a little push in their life.
Correct.
And then if they do it to their children, in a couple of years, our family wouldn't be known as the sprangers on the street. You know what I mean? We need to do better. We need to make little adjustments. And I ain't saying just outright stop buy food. I ain't saying just outright stop buy clothes. But I think a lot of people again this kind of get mixed up with that long-term vision or goal for your family, and it's just kind of get so caught up and oh gosh, hey, I got 10,000. No, what we could do?
Yeah.
Just so you just going on a trip. Every year you going on a trip, but you're not making every year trip money.
Yeah.
Why you doing that? Save for 2 years now and then go for a trip now. Every year, only in Barbados. Every year in Tobago. But you're not making that money.
Yep.
I am one for benefiting from your hard work. I'm big on that. You must benefit from your hard work. So if you did something and it's an accomplishment and you say, listen, let me celebrate, you know. But budget the celebration.
The celebration end when your bank account end. That's how you celebrate. That is celebration for teenagers. You know, I
and put our vision in place. We say, hey, in 5 years we want to have a house. We got it in 6 years. So it was years and enough. But writing down vision and plan for your family, for what you want to get done is a real thing that we don't do as well, that our people don't do as well. Put in that pen to paper and say, listen, this is the goal, 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, this is what we want to accomplish. And working towards it, we don't do that too. I say I go in my bed, but we half an hour now.
Yeah, you did. Well, let me wrap up. And you know, as you say about things that fathers could do and giving the best effort to their children, that's a good time for me to plug Mindful Education. It's the educational institution that I run. You know, we do personal classes, one-on-one. We also do learning pods, which are homeschool style geared classes, group classes, whichever you're interested to. We do learning stages, preschool all the way up to CXC, and one-on-one tuition for more CXC and CAPE subjects. If you are interested in that, message us. Get that extra help you may need, or as a child, a student of yours may need, if they are so interested. All right. Yeah, Wendell. Of course. And you know, I think when I look at the fathers and what I see of fathers today, I think some of the what we've heard of fathers may have been an incorrect narrative, because I don't necessarily think that it's only that modern fathers are so good and old fathers are bad. But you know, I think what could be happening also in the modern time is no, because some now are bad too. There are some now bad too. There are still bad fathers now. I know some, but the what was said outward, I think would have latched on to the modern generation of fathers, so they understand even in image. So, okay, some older fathers may have had the view that I don't have to look like I love my child, and once I give you the money, that is enough. What is Fences? What was the show with Denzel Washington and his son? I don't have to be a friend and all of that and all that. That was the older view of fatherhood that some men really did have. And it's not that they didn't care for their children, but they thought of it in a different light. Like what my duty is a different thing. And I think some of that through maybe media And even social media, men are hearing what people are saying about fatherhood and what some children lacked in their fathers, what they wanted. I didn't necessarily want all the provision. I wanted a dad that could hug me up and stuff. And I'm seeing a lot of that. And to me, that says that it's not the narrative that some people attempt to make it seem like, the men naturally just don't care for their children. That's not true. Men care. They love their children. If you are a bad father, you are stepping out of what should be the norm. That's not the norm. The norm isn't that all men are just bad fathers and the good fathers are the strange, unique ones. No. Men want to be good fathers. You're the bad one. You're outside of the norm. You're the weird one. You're the one that people don't really want to hang around you too much. What do you mean you're not taking care of your child? What kind of man you are? Behave yourself. All right. Let me look to Divo. This was real good, people. It passed 12. I haven't been here for over a week, so this was good. I'll see you guys again for the next Mindful Live. We out here tomorrow night again, people. Around that 9:30 p.m. time. Until then, peace out. Of course, she not up still, Ronnie. The last time she was here, she just knocked out.
She was looking around Sprite. They said she had like an hour.
Nah, the Sprite is like a star. It always brightest before the burnout. You see, right before she knock out, a kind of hyper action going on hit, and then you're like, what's going on with you? You blink and you turn around and out.
Later, how you get your wife to approve you going live every night? I'm trying. I don't know what else to do. I could only get one night out a week to go live. So I don't know what you're doing in your house, but I applied and I didn't get approved.
I'd have to give those tips off air.
Alright.
Later, people.
Later.
Right.
Bye. If you're educated, informed, or entertained, I'll see you guys later. Be